Okay. Um, I do not know how to really begin this video apart from awkwardly introducing myself. My name is Philippe. I am the CEO of a clothing brand called Weirdos and Weird Clothes. I am also a music producer, but in the music producing community, I'm more so considered a beat maker, as I haven't created a song yet, but an artist that I was working with should be putting out something relatively soon. And I am making this video because there were two quotes that were almost like interjected into my mind. And the first quote was, "Beyond fear is freedom." And the other one is, "Perfection is the enemy of progress." And those two quotes were just like harassing me on my way from the gym. So this is incredibly impromptu. I had a lot of things I had in mind I wanted to say, and I just really hope I'm able to actually say them all in an eloquent manner that could be understood, because I don't want to edit this video. I want it to be as raw and as transparent as possible, and that's really what I want anything I'm involved with to be moving forward. Because I think when people become successful, there's like this misconception of how they got there, and the fact that because they're successful, they're special, and all these like misconceptions, when either somebody worked really hard for a long time and it was their time to succeed, or somebody had something about them like an asset or a skill set or just something physically that was just in demand, so it was their time to succeed. A lot of it, in my perspective, and just from my time just studying people and history, success really has a lot to do with timing in a lot of situations, But so kind of going back to like what I wanted to make the video about, I wanted to record something like this for months. And the reason I hadn't done it was because I was thinking about the presentation of everything. I'm very presentation oriented. Like, I want this to be right, this to be right, this to be right, so that way it all lines up and it's like this one big presentation that all just works with one another. So I'm able to give you like a full scope and a full vision and all these other things, which I think is definitely a great way to go about things. But the problem is, I am so specific on the things that I want that when they all don't line up, that impedes my ability to do things. So essentially, I'm like a perfectionist. And eventually I thought to myself, like, man, fuck it. Like, why don't I just do something like this and just put it out, And I had multiple conversations with my girl, multiple conversations with my bro in Cali about it. Like, yo, we need to really just like put ourselves out there and this, that, and the third. And all of those conversations, but no action from it. And I was just really kind of thinking on, okay, well, what exactly is stopping me from doing something like this? Like, why, how come I'm not just doing it? And the more I thought about it, the more I thought about, why do I not do anything related to social media? Why do I not put myself out there? Even though, I've done a lot of different things that objectively to me is super cool. And to other people, I've painted, I've made clothes from scratch, I've made shoes, I've customized shoes, I've spray painted, anything that I thought was cool, I tried it. And it's almost like consciously and subconsciously, I choose to remain non-visible, and it just comes with fear and perfection, because I want to present myself in the most flawless way possible, so that way there's no room for error or criticism. But that's just so unrealistic, because some of the greatest things in life are flawed, and it's through that flaw that actually makes them perfect. Some of the best video games I've ever played, especially like on the PlayStation, gotta give it to you, Raw. Especially on like the PlayStation 2 was fucking incredible. It was so much fun, but they weren't perfect. Like, some of them were super glitchy. If you know, you know. I don't want to like go too deep into that, but something that's too perfect doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. It's super hard to connect with. And I've been working on an album. I've been working on this clothing brand. Do my best to work on it. I've been always working on something for years now, and the lack of progress in certain areas, or the progress in certain areas but no reaction to it, all really stems from just me not putting myself out there because of that fear of rejection, because I know it's not perfect. And initially I was gonna, like, my very first video, I wanted it to be about like my brand and what I want people to know what my brand is about. And truthfully, I think there's so many clothes out there. Like, there really doesn't need to be another clothing brand. There's always like another one popping up. If I was to say what's the one thing that separates Weirdos and Weird Clothes, or WWC for short, from any other clothing brand, it would be that my intention isn't to sell you a product. My intention is to create a community with you. If you were, and this is obviously exclusive to people who grew up in New York, if you were able to visit the original Billionaire Boys Club store, or you were out in Soho before, you know, it got kind of weird, then you can remember how if somebody was outside in Soho, in those areas, just looking for clothes and stuff like that, you know that it was very much like in a community where everybody had one goal in mind, and that was to find the flyest shit that they possibly could. And for Billionaire Boys Club, it was like you got every single thing you could have possibly wanted, as far as like clothing, as far as like music, as far as like furniture, everything. It was a literal world for a community to exist in. And ultimately, that's my goal. That's why, you know, I think it's taken me so long to put something out about it, because I'm so focused on world building. But at the same time, I'm doing myself a disservice by at least not putting myself out there first, because I have never really fucked with a brand where I didn't fuck with the person that made it. And I know that's not everybody, but I know there's people like that, like myself, out there. So I wanted to make like this first sporadic video, just giving you like a snapshot into my mind. And I do want to speak on this particular message, even though I feel like I'm kind of rambling, but I said I wanted to be transparent, raw, all over the place, and sporadic. So here we are. So the first thing I really want to like touch upon is, if there's something that you're afraid of doing, it's probably, and I would say like a reasonable fear of, like, you don't want to go on stage and perform. You don't want to walk up to a girl and talk to them. You don't want to do anything that you know would get your heart rushing, or would just make you so happy, or just almost be life-changing, or I don't know, anything that would just really feed your soul, but you're afraid to do it because of people's reaction or because of failure or because of embarrassment. I hope someone watches this video if they're in that state, because I want you to know that shit don't matter. It'll never matter. Whatever your hesitations are, what you're afraid of, the desire for you to do what you want to do is the purest thing that you will ever have in your life. And the doubt, the fear, those are things that creep up inside of you through your life experiences. But that desire to do these things, to go on stage and sing, to put yourself out there, to make that movie, to write that script, to do whatever it is, that's something that was in you since the day you were born. And none of those thoughts, none of those rejections or life experiences matter. You have to do it. Whatever it is, you have to do it, and you have to do it with open arms and accept everything that comes with doing it. Because ultimately, whatever anybody has to say about what you're doing doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that you have to do what's in your heart. You have to do what God put you on earth to do. You have to do what your heart tells you. You have to do what your spirit tells you. You have to live in alignment with yourself. And most people are unhappy because they don't live in alignment with themselves. I know that when I am most depressed or most sad, it's because I'm not doing something I know I should be doing. Not even necessarily like a responsibility, but a calling. You know, if I'm not creating, that's typically when I'm the most depressed. Because I must create. I'm a creator. To do the opposite of what you are, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And the second thing that I want to say is, nobody wants perfection in the sense that you think. And what I mean by that is, gosh, like how do I really break that down? The women who get surgery done on themselves, right? For them to reach like that perfect visual, like face structure or bone structure or whatever the case may be. The people who do that to themselves always look a bit odd. And it's not because they're ugly, it's because there's just something about their face that doesn't sit right with you. Or there's something about a structure, a sound, like some of the best music has like these flaws in it, happy accidents. I don't feel like I'm articulating that the best, but be flawed. Strive to be better, but be flawed and put yourself out there, because perfection is the enemy of progress. If you're so worried about something being exactly as it should be, you're not even able to move on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. You're so focused on the foundation, which obviously must be great, it must be perfect, but if you spend 20 years working on the foundation of something, how do you even know it's going to hold up, or if it's good, or if it's wrong, until you move on to the next part to see if that foundation will stand? People who are most successful in life, once again from my observation and study, are the people who operate in a feedback system where they interact with the situation, and based on how it goes, aka the feedback, they will take it and make adjustments and then move on. And they just consistently live in that cycle, and that's how they're able to make progression. They're not like stuck in a single area trying to get that shit right, and then after 10 years of getting that shit right, everything around them has changed. So their initial thing that they were working on it no longer has a space to exist and operate in current society. So, yep, that was super all over the place. Yeah, that was super all over the place. And I see I'm at like 15 minutes, so I'm gonna stop it right here. But the next video that I make will probably be similar, just a little bit more focused and more focused on a singular topic. But I really just wanted to break away from this pattern of behavior that I've seen I've been doing, where I have to do something new. To do the same thing and expect a different result is insanity. And at the end of the day, my intention for all of my creations and all the work that I do is really to share them with people and take care of the people that I love. And most importantly, I hope that everything that I do inspires somebody, because everybody is great. Everybody is like this incredible, amazing human being. And the people who don't feel that way, it's because maybe life hasn't affirmed you the way you wanted to, but life for a lot of people isn't going to do that. So you have to affirm yourself. But it's always nice to hear somebody else say that you're great. So and I really hope this video goes far and many people see it, I really hope that you know that you're great, that you are an amazing person who is capable of so many different extraordinary things, and you have so many things to offer to the world. And I hope that when you look in the mirror, you're able to see that. And I hope that you overcome all of your trials and tribulations. And I hope that you're able to identify the greatness within yourself without needing to read a book, without needing to talk to a therapist, without needing to talk to a friend. And I think that's it. Now I'm at 17 minutes and I feel kind of awkward about it, but it is what it is.